Now, for the latest in the world of business, we begin with the East African Brewers Limited, who have announced a 33% rise in pre-tax profit during the half year ending the 31st of December 2018. Net sales grew 13% to 41.6 billion Kenya shillings. Kenya and Uganda both saw net sales increase by 12%, and Tanzania was up 26%. The company has invested extensively in the past year and continues to report positive progress with regards to their Kisumu brewery. EABL has already contracted more than 15,000 farmers to supply the new brewery with sorghum.
Particularly delighted with the courage of the leadership that has underwritten that performance from the capex investments this time last year. At the same time, recognising that we are lapping a subdued period of performance in the first half of last year. Uganda has bounced back really quickly, and there's some very credible drivers of that growth, which we believe make that business growth sustainable into H2. And then Tanzania, which was our turnaround business a year ago, has continued with very, very strong growth, and the profitability of that business has also been really impressive. Value beer growing at 16%. This is at a time when we have prioritised mixing our two lower margin businesses in Tanzania and Uganda into our mainstream higher margin businesses, at the same time though still been able to grow.
In our weekly roundup, we give you a snapshot of business stories that made headlines. We start in the telecommunications sector, where mobile transactions soared to 3.98 trillion shillings last year. According to data provided by the Central Bank of Kenya, that is an increase of 10% from 2017. Brenda Kerubo has that report.
Kenyans are using their mobile phones for most of their transactions because of convenience and speed. Some of the latest developments include mobile loans and sport betting. The move is also driven by commercial banks. They have introduced their own mobile wallets. For instance, Interbank Money Payment Switch PesaLink allows transfers through mobile phones, agents, branches, ATMs and the internet on a real-time basis. Major sectors of the economy have also integrated mobile wallets. Smallholder farmers who may not have bank accounts can receive payments for their produce, reducing time and cost associated with traditional ways. The government plans to restrict imports of second-hand cars to newer vehicles in an effort to boost the domestic automotive sector. According to a draft policy proposal, by 2021, the state will restrict imports of cars to vehicles that are 3 years older or newer. Vehicles with an engine capacity of 1,500 cubic centimeters and below will be exempt from the new age limit to keep certain models within the reach of first-time buyers. Companies that assemble cars locally will receive incentives, including zero import and excise duties, as well as a 50% discount to the corporate tax rate. The gap between the rich and the poor in the country is widening, with only 8,300 people holding the bulk of the wealth. A new report by Oxfam says this is denying a majority of Kenyans access to essential services such as healthcare and education. The richest 10% earned on average 23 times more than the poorest 10%. To reduce the inequality, Oxfam recommends increasing taxes on the super rich and cutting reforms that would make quality education and healthcare affordable. Kenya Airways has proposed the formation of a subsidiary to manage operations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for a concession period of 30 years. This addresses the concerns raised on the interest of KQ's ownership, which includes private investors like commercial banks and KLM, unlike JKIA, which the government fully owns through the Kenya Airports Authority. And finally, the government is in talks to lenders about a plan to issue a $2.5 billion Eurobond denominated either in euros or dollars. A number of banks submitted their interest last week and their technical capabilities. The government has been on a borrowing spree since 2013 to fund its ambitious capital-intensive infrastructure projects such as roads, rail, port, and energy projects. Brenda Kerubo, KTN Business.
The United Nations Project Services has injected £1 billion into the Big Four Agenda's affordable housing program. The funding is aimed at attracting other development partners to chip into the project, meant to raise 64.7 billion shillings for the planned 100,000 housing units across the country. The houses are to be constructed using green technologies and energy-efficient solar rooftops. While the implementation work will include local equipment, skills and expertise, priority will be given to public facilities such as children's playgrounds, schools and community halls. Affordable housing has faced lots of challenges, with the court order blocking the deduction of 1.5% tax from every worker's salary to generate funds. All right, that's the latest in the world of business. We'll be coming back with the latest in the world of sports. Do stay with us.